Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another video, another day, another stream, all that good stuff. What am I doing today? The Gundam's done, and so I'm now going to be starting the build of the Tamiya F-4J Phantom, or Phantom 2 as it may be. This is a 1/32 scale plastic model kit by Tamiya. This was actually requested by one of my YouTube followers, and I said I'd check it out, and I did. And this is now the start of my build of this particular model. I've gone through the instructions and I've discovered Tamiya has done me dirty. Although they reference the colors that you're supposed to paint everything in the instructions on all the pieces, they have no color chart telling me what these colors are. Yes, it says this should be AS20, this should be XF56, this should be XF2. But what are those colors? We don't know because they didn't put any chart at the beginning of the instructions. What the hell, Tamiya? Normally you are flawless, and I always praise Tamiya models. This one, what? Especially big frickin', look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing is huge. This is like a freaking huge Gundam kit, but it's a freaking airplane, and there's no color chart. So I wound up having to Google. Googled this model with color chart, and I found one website that actually lists the whole list of colors, and that was very nice of them. And so, pardon me, and so I went through the book and I have labeled all the colors throughout this book. I even highlighted a couple of them here so it pops out to me, so I remember, oh, that's supposed to be dark gunmetal and not light gunmetal. I don't know what I got in my eye, but anyway, so that's that. That is that. So I've gone through this. Well, I haven't really gone through it, but I've gone through all the different colors that are supposed to be. I realized I needed to buy the base spray paint for it. So this thing is supposed to be in AS16, which is light gray USAF by Tamiya, and it actually appears that the model is molded in this color. So I imagine once I spray it, probably not going to tell any difference. The other color, which I already had, was the AS20 Insignia White. It's not quite white. Here's flat, here's regular white compared to it. I call it off-white. It's just not quite white, right? It's almost white. So there's a lot of parts that I need to spray paint. So this particular video is really just going to be an unboxing, taking a look at the parts, and that's about it, because I got a lot of spray painting I'm going to have to do. And well, you guys don't need to watch me spray paint a whole bunch of parts and then sit here twiddling my thumbs for an hour. So I am going to be painting this plane as in the VMF 333 Shamrocks colors, and using those decals that come with the kit. It does come with a couple of different ones. You can do it like that, or you can do it as the Jolly Rogers, which is very popular. And then there's the Red Devils. Jolly Rogers, of course, has that signature skull and crossbones on the tail fin, right there. It's they got their F-14 model kits. It comes in the Jolly Rogers as well, and other planes. Jolly Rogers obviously very popular, but this one, the guy who requested that I build one of these. He specifically is doing the Shamrock, so I'm going to do the Shamrock. Why not, right? Doesn't really make much difference to me. Yeah, so again, there's no color chart for the paints. It shows me applying decals, how to apply them, shows all the parts, typical Tamiya instructions. Everything except a paint color chart. Very, very strange of Tamiya to leave that out. What I found interesting, reading the little history on the F4 Phantom, these things were originally, first one was built in like 1958. To me, that's just like crazy long ago. They actually stopped production in the year that I was born. That's how old this plane is. And they used these in the Vietnam War, I guess for the most part, and that's where they became more famous, was in that war. But anyway, let's get into this box here and let's start opening things up. The thing about this particular kit is not so much that the box is big, it's just the parts are big. So right off the bat here we have the Cockpit Tub, I guess we could call it. It's the biggest cockpit I will have ever built, for sure. Like I said before, I don't normally build 1/32 scale model kits. They're always 1/48. So the level of detail is going to be a little bit, I don't know, better than I'm used to, I guess. I mean, it's going to be a lot easier to paint all the little dials and switches on these panels. I don't know if the camera will really pick up the detail on those or not. If you get the right angle, you can see it on there. There's a lot of detail going on there. And same with the display here. It's hard to tell. If I angle it right, you can see the detail on it, but yeah. So there's that. So now obviously a ladder. So that's that piece, or that tree. Next, we've got, it looks like some wheels, also some more cockpit pieces. That looks like maybe the side panel on the inside of the cockpit. There's another display, just maybe for the co-pilot. But then we've got a couple of wheels. It's nice one-piece wheels. I watched a video, somebody did a review on this kit, and this kit comes with actual rubber tires, like a car model. The size of the nose cone on this thing is, you know, certain body parts might not be that long. Not myself, of course, but got our fuel tanks, or I don't know if it's a fuel tank or a drop tank, whatever they want to call it. These look like, not the tail fins, but the I guess elevators, is that what they call them? 2 pieces each. For the weapons, for the missiles. I've seen from the instructions that's part of the engines. So that's that one. Next. This looks like some big intake parts. Yeah, these are for the intakes, so I gotta spray the inside of these that off-white before assembling them. Not sure what parts these are. Maybe part of the rear main wings. There's the hooks for the aircraft carrier. Yeah, these are part of the tail, part of the wings. These are landing gear pod pieces. Okay, that's done. I'm going to put this down at the top of the box here. Same with this one, just because of that nose piece. You know what? I'm going to take that nose piece off of there, just because it's a bit of a pain trying to navigate. I'd rather take it off on purpose than have it accidentally break off. It also makes all the trees sit a little bit more flush. Okay, next. Looks like we got 2 in 1 bag here. I guess they are just duplicates. It almost looks like they go together. Got the engines, we got the thrusters, which the guy I watched online didn't like the lack of detail on these. I don't really care. Same with the seats. I guess you can buy resin kits for this, of the cockpit, the seats, the engines. I'm not interested in doing that kind of stuff. I think Tamiya does a good enough job that this thing sitting on a shelf is going to be good enough detail. I don't need to add to it. That's just me. So these two basically are just the same mold, just done twice, and they put them together like this because they fit nice upside down on each other. I don't know how did they have it? Like this. Did they? Maybe they had the other way. Anyway, doesn't matter. Next, this is definitely the bottom of the fuselage. It's nice that they put this nice little foam on there to protect it, because it is such a big kit. And all it is the inside of the front landing gear bay. I'm surprised why didn't they do that as a separate piece? That's strange. To have that as a separate piece would have made more sense to me. A model that you're, well, let's be honest, paying a lot of money for. I would have expected more. You know, yeah. Let's see, with these, why aren't those separate little buckets to glue on there? You know, it almost looks like they were at one point. It's strange how they decide certain details to make you assemble and other ones that they don't. Anyway, that's the underside of the fuselage. We have the top side of the fuselage, which Tamiya goes to painstaking lengths to protect with bubble wrap. Is this really that delicate that they need to bubble wrap it? Now it is very cool that there's going to be no seam. Normally you'd have a seam to deal with going all the way across, because normally you'd have two halves to put together, or you'd have two halves like this where you've got a seam going across here, right? So it is cool that this is all one piece, and it's also nice the panel lines are scribed in, they're not raised. that is very nice. We've got some anchor points where this is actually going to go down something like that. And did I have it right? Not quite. Anyway, it's going to go something like that. And I actually have a screw. I'll have a screw to put in there to attach it. We don't quite have this lined up the way it's supposed to, but and I think there's screws that are going to go in there too, in through here into the bottom part to bolt this thing down. Now what's kind of strange is there's no hole, but I saw in the instructions screws to attach it. So yeah. Okay, so we have that. This is definitely the weapons tree. Bombs and bombs and bombs. And then the other sides of the bombs, this again looks like just a duplicate tree. They've molded twice. And there you go, have it. Bombs and bombs, and bombs and bombs and bombs. Next, just a little weapon mounting thing. What's this catching on? Oh, there. Just for weapon pods. Yippee. What have we got here? Little bag. Oh, these are the seats. To put the seats in their own little bag. Oh, because they got a couple of little delicate parts on them. Very detailed. I'll give them that. I mean, you go with a resin kit, you're not going to get a heck of a lot more detail than that. Maybe a little more, but you can't complain about the detail on that. I suppose you can, but I'm not. What else? We got a screw bag, bunch of screws. Put that there. We have our clear sheets. We have a little box inside too. So this is our canopy and different lenses, probably for a heads-up display, and I'm going to guess usually light on the front landing gear. The glass for the canopy looks nice and pristine. No complaints about that. I'm surprised it's got that. I wonder why that's clear. I imagine I'm going to have to paint this piece. I don't anticipate that's supposed to be clear. It might though. I don't know. So I don't see. Oh yeah, okay, so just looking at the picture here. It will be painted, but there's a couple of little spots that are clear. Got windows in it. We got this one last huge tree of wing parts. Wing parts and whatever part of the fuselage these are. A couple little pieces here. Not sure what that is. And that's that. Two more things in there. This little bag here has Tamiya is nice enough to include a little tiny little screwdriver for your screws. Thank you very much. And this, well, this is just the underneath at the back where the two engines go. So that's going to get a coat of gunmetal and then a lot of stuff to make it look burnt. It's basically my anticipation. I'm just going to cut this little knob off of here right now, just because I don't need it. Okay, there's that. This little box. Landing gear parts with tires. That's pretty cool. There's our real rubber tires. Nice and squishy. Okay, real rubber tires. And metal landing gear pieces. Yeah, that's cold. That's actual metal. Actual metal pieces for the landing gear. You know, I saw in the instructions that it showed screws to mount the landing gear, and I thought, wow, screws, that's strange. I see now why. Because you can't just glue these in. The glue's not going to hold these. That is pretty neat. Real metal landing gear. One in its own little bag for some reason. Why are you in your own bag? I don't know. Looks just like it's just a left and right version of the same thing. So there we go. Put it in its own little box. That's pretty neat. And that's it for parts. We have 2 decal sheets. Man, these are going to be huge. I actually have this stapled on there to protect it. These are huge. Just now, that's the decal for the tail fin. That is just, looking at that, is huge. Right? I mean, wow, that's big. I mean, never mind. Yeah, USS Roosevelt or the USS America. America. Yeah. Okay. So there's one decal sheet, and then we have the other decal sheet. I guess this is the more generic one. These huge decals. I mean, I could just mask and paint the black. I don't need to have humongous decals like that. I mean, I could literally just paint it black, mask it off like that, paint that black, cut this out, this little red spot, cut that out, and put that on as a decal. You know, like, anyway, this is definitely just the generic. That's kind of neat. You got this cut there, but this is cut in a really funky pattern. It's going to be interesting how that goes on the actual plane. And that wraps it up. That's about it. So like I said, I gotta get to spray painting this thing. The first thing I do is I kind of go through the trees and see what needs to be what color, and I like to spray paint, like I try and spray paint all the landing gear pieces, everything that needs to be white, spray it while it's on the tree, that kind of thing. Especially panels, like inside the intake panels, I just spray it right on the tree and things like that. And then I don't really have to worry about it after. I don't have to worry about having it off the tree and manipulating it and grabbing my little clamp, you know, my little alligator clips and things like that, because it's already painted, right? That's what I like to do to kind of start things off. See what needs to be what and paint as much as I can on the trees itself. I might get flack for calling them trees instead of sprues. I don't care. Quite the seam line here to deal with on this piece. It's a pretty big seam line. Let's see if I can show you on there. You can see that right in that angle there. You can see right along here. I'll have to deal with that. Smooth that out a little bit to try and hide that seam. So far, that's really the only issue I've seen just going through this with seams. Doesn't seem to really be much in the way of imperfections on the mold. Of course, that'll all come out when we start putting it together, right? Bombs and missiles, I mean, a lot of this stuff, like these are all going to be olive drab color. That's kind of default. These pieces are going to be the same color as the underneath of the plane, so that's going to be the insignia white. That's pretty straightforward as far as that goes. So I might just mask this half off and spray paint all this, the insignia white, because that's what color it's going to wind up being. I've learned in the past, if I try and spray paint this now and then assemble it, and as I start adding pieces of the wings and stuff like that, I find the coverage doesn't match, and then I get weird colors and I wind up having to spray it all again. So big honking pieces like this, I won't spray paint until it's just about time that I can't avoid it. Because once I've got landing gear in here, I can't paint this now, right? It's just the way it is. So, so there's that. Things like this, these are insignia white, these are flat white or regular white. Those can be painted, no problem. Same with this. All the missiles are white on this thing. Gunmetal, pretty straightforward. Gunmetal there. Inside of the engine's gunmetal. Simple stuff, just quick and dirty spray painting on those. Same kind of stuff. What else? This is just the duplicates, it's the same thing. This tree here, more weapon stuff, so more insignia white. These get assembled and then they got a strip. Basically the inside strip is like a light gunmetal color on these. And then of course the outside is just your regular fuselage color, which on the underside is the insignia white and on the top side is the light gray. Simple enough. This tree, I'll have to determine what these are. I think these are wing parts, these are flaps probably. So don't paint those yet until I know where they go on the wings. These are going to be insignia white on the inside, more wing parts. These are going to be regular white because the inside of the landing gear pods and all landing gears always white. That's about it. I think parts of these are going to be black, so I won't be spraying these. That's about it, really. And then the only other piece is the main fuselage, which again, if I can get away with not painting this, then I will. But I have a feeling, I was right, it's molded in the same color as the paint. So it's, even though it is molded in the correct color, there's going to wind up being some kind of sanding that needs to be done, some kind of putty added somewhere to remove gaps. Well, it's Tamiya, so maybe not. But I still going to probably wind up spray painting it in this color, just so, if nothing more than just as a base coat for all the weathering and stuff that's going to get done. As you guys know, I don't use airbrushes, and so I won't be airbrushing this thing, and so I can't do any of that pre-shading that airbrushers always do. I always have to use different techniques to get that old and weathered look, and I'll do what I can, but it's not going to be as good. I would like to, let me bring up a picture. I would like to get it looking as good as this guy's plane, but that is I think that is something that is going to be hard for me to do. If I zoom in, see all the shading around the panels, that's going to be really hard for me to do. Now I can do all the panel lines and do that, but to get that shading in there is going to be difficult for me to do because I don't have an airbrush. I'll get zoomed out all the way here so I can go to the next picture. It's the same kind of thing. If I can get it looking like this, or something similar, I want to get it that dirty look, that aged look, you know, because it's a Navy plane. This one happens to be the Nimitz, but for what this guy did. But yeah, that kind of, I think, if I can get it similar to this, I think I'll be happy with it. I don't think I need to do much more. I'm going to try looking at some real pictures of this plane to see if the lighter color, this white on that he's got on these flaps, are supposed to be that color, if that's realistic to the real plane. If I can get it looking like that, I'll be happy. I think that's all I really need to do. So yeah, it's I think that'll be good enough. If I can get it looking like that, I'll be happy. And so with that, I think I'm going to end that here. Just a quick little video unboxing this thing and getting prepared. It's really all this is about today. Just getting it started. And I'll get into actual assembly on it in my next one, part 2. Funny enough, this is going to be the first airplane model I've seen where part 1 is not assembling the cockpit. This is an airplane model, is it not? You got to build the cockpit first. Apparently not. They want me to assemble the intake first, and then put these things on the side of the main fuselage, basically doing the intakes. Do the rear engines and then actually put the rear fins together. Horizontal stabilizers. Those are first. That's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 we're doing the rear engine, exhaust, and it's part 5 we're doing the cockpit. That is extremely unusual. That is crazy. So, in other words, I got some spray painting to do. And those parts that I thought were part of the wings, These here, those are not part of the wings. Those are part of the intake. Those are those little fins that stick out here. Neat. Anyway, so that's it for now. Since you guys are watching this on YouTube, why not head over to my Twitch channel? In my Twitch channel, you can follow me on there, duplicitous_29. You can follow me on there, and you'll get notified when I go live, like I am right now. Well, not now as you're watching, but I was live. That's kind of weird. Anyway, and while I'm live, you can watch me and you can type in the chat and you can talk to me, and it comes up in this little black box right here, right there, and I can respond to your questions. You can tell me I look funny, you can tell me I'm doing it wrong, you can tell me I'm doing a good job, whatever. Troll me with all kinds of gotchas and whatever. If that's really what you want to do, I don't care. Have fun with it. But anyway, I'm going to end that here, and I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming out. And I'll try and continue. I'll try and get some work done on this later on today. Get some painting done, and then maybe I can continue with the build. Maybe tomorrow or something like that, or in the next day or so, and kind of just slowly go at it and get this puppy built. And yeah, it'll be good. It looks like it's going to be fairly simple, if not really big. It's not super complicated. At least it doesn't appear super complicated. I think the 1/48 scale F-14 is probably a more complicated build than this thing, but that is yet to be determined. We'll find out shortly. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. Thanks for coming out. You guys who follow me and subscribe on my YouTube, you guys are really awesome. That's so great. Thank you so much. And if you want to see still pictures, I just put still pictures up of my Gundam build on my Instagram, and I'll put links down below to my Instagram and my Twitch if you want to check that out. Also my Twitter, though I never use really my Twitter. I upload notifications on my Twitter of my YouTube uploads. That's pretty much all I use it for. I'm not much of a tweeter. But anyway, thanks again, guys, and we will see you all in the next one.